Did you know if you're a farmer, you can get your low tunnels paid for by the NRCS? Through a recently launched government program, farmers can get between $4 and $5 per square foot in reimbursement towards a Quick Hoops low tunnel system. That's free money to help increase production on your farm. Learn more about Quick Hoops and the NRCS program at shop.moderngrower.co or using the link below. When you look back, what would you tell somebody in their early 20s who doesn't have a hard line? I don't want to say ambition, but they just, that light bulb of this is what I want to do, at least for now, isn't switched on for them yet. It's more, I don't really know. I'm into some hobbies. I don't know what I want to do for a career. What would you tell them based on how you've lived life?
I would tell anybody, regardless of their age, do what you want to do, what makes you happy, because life's too short to be miserable and to I've been at jobs where I was miserable and I absolutely hated to wake up in the morning and go to that job. It was almost unbearable at times. And I just think people should do what they want to do. They should follow their passion and just follow their heart.
For a job to be unbearable, why is that? Is that could be a boss, that could be coworkers, that
I
could be
think
what you're
it's
doing.
mostly who's in charge. A boss or a manager can make or break a business and they can make or break employees. I've been places where the people in charge just literally ran everybody out of there, and it's not a good atmosphere. It doesn't have a good vibe, and it's just not a good situation to be in.
Yeah, it's maybe an interesting question of how many bad bosses have driven people to self-employment unintentionally. A lot of our entrepreneurial force is probably the result of some jerk boss.
I would say there's a lot of truth to that, and I've always told people once you work for yourself, you're ruined to work for anybody else because you know how you want things done and you have your own expectations. And when you see how other people are running things, you might not agree with that, but most of the time you really can't say anything.
You went into the military there saying you were okay not making it to 30. Now you have this outlook of, hey, if you're younger, do what makes you happy because time is precious. What was the life event that flipped that perspective?
Being in the Marine Corps and being a firefighter and EMT for a short period of time, I'd seen a lot of death and been around a lot of blood and guts, but what changed me psychologically and what flipped that switch was when I held my mother's hand when she died of cancer and watched her take her last breath. And it made me realize how short life is and how fast it can go. And there's a Bible verse that says life is like a vapor, you know, it dissipates fast. And that's why I encourage anybody, regardless of whether they're young or middle aged or older, just do what you want to do and follow your passion. And when you're young, you have everybody giving you advice and telling you, oh, you should do this, you should do that. And my advice to people would be if you know what you want out of life and what you want to do, don't let anybody else talk you out of it.
Yeah,
You just you have to take in all the information and analyze it all and figure out how it applies to you and whether their advice is going to work for you or not. And the one thing that I've learned in life is I always consider the source. you have a lot of people that really haven't done much in their life, but sometimes they're the first ones that want to give you advice. And I don't say anything to people like that, but I look at what they've done with their life and I'm thinking to myself, you're giving me this advice, but judging off of what you've done and how you've ran your life, I don't, it's probably not going to be a good advice.
It's a really key point. I think it's really wise. The sourcing is everything. A lot of times, advice you get is something people wished they would do themselves or how they view like their best self. But if you audit their life, they might not do it. There's family members I've had in my life who definitely suggested things that I don't think they would ever have the balls to do. Um,
Right.
and that's sad because you have people. It's one thing if it's somebody online now or social media, that's easy to switch off. But when you have family, close friend, or whoever that might be, a mentor, and it's hard if that person cares about you, you care about them, to tune that out, even if it's not the right fit, which is something I've dealt with early on around that when I was 18 and hey, do this. And it was like, it doesn't sound right for me. And I went down the path and ended up deviating off the path of just like you did and ending up where I am today. But I think it can be, yeah, very hard. But I love that idea of who's giving you the information and maybe what's the motivation for them doing it? Do they really care? Are they trying to make themselves sound good?
If you enjoy farm podcasts, then tune into Carrot Cash Flow for all things farm business. Join us as we explore the latest trends, tips, and stories from market farmers running businesses just like yours. Whether you're a seasoned farmer or just starting out, our podcast has something for everyone. Listen in and grow with us. Available on all major podcast platforms. Don't miss out. Subscribe to Carrot Cash Flow today.